What is going on, everyone? Trust the Buzz here. If you are new to the channel, just know I make daily Charlotte Hornets content. So if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you cannot tell by the thumbnail or title of this video, today's video I'm going to be talking about the winners and the losers of Summer League. And now, it is Summer League at the end of the day, so it's really not that big of a deal. But also, got to keep the content going to have daily content. So we're going to talk about the winners and losers. I'm going to give 3 winners. I'm going to give 3 losers. And just because someone is a loser doesn't mean that I think anything bad, if that makes any sense. It's just more so the winners, the way they're, propelling themselves onto the team or, things like that. It affects the losers a little bit. And that's why they're losers, not because they performed poorly or anything like that. So we'll do winner, loser, and go from there. So the first winner I have is JT Thors. Now, I'm not saying that because of his last game, while his last game did help. The reason I'm saying JT Thors is because last year he actually did get a lot of run on the first team. I mean, granted, he wasn't like starting or anything like that, but JT Thors played some big games in big minutes last year. He didn't play a lot of big games in big minutes, but they did look to JT Thors when they needed to, and I mean, he performed. I mean, he didn't do what he was doing in Summer League, the last game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, but JT Thors was a valuable defensive weapon. We saw him literally switch from 1 through 5 consistently, and he really, he struggled as far as his age and just learning the game, but he didn't struggle as in his ability or talent to be able to struggle. Like I've seen, he was able to guard the pick and roll well. He was able to, close out on defenders, rebound, things like that. And then, of course, lots and lots of dunks. So JT Thors definitely is a winner in my eyes just because his offensive game was not good really until the last game, which he looked great, and I'm not expecting that from him every time. However, I just like to see the growth in his offensive game. We saw that he tried to do a little less finesse. So typically in the Summer League, in the early games, JT Thors was trying to do like a little bit of turnarounds and no dribble moves and kind of just pull up and trying to do things like that. However, in the last game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, he was just taking the ball to the basket and taking his open shot. Now, granted, there was one shot he took at the end. He made it, but it wasn't like an open shot or anything like that. He was just trying to, tie the game. But yeah, he did what he had to do, and he just played to his athleticism. Once he learns kind of like, his dribble patterns and things like that, because there was one time he almost got stripped because he, his dribbling is so predictable. I'm not asking JT Thors to put the ball on the floor from the top of the key all the time. So I more see JT Thors doing it from the inside of the paint type thing and do spin moves and things like that. So once he gets that to his game, mind you, he's only like 19, maybe 20. There's lots of time for him to grow. But the reason he is a winner is because he's showing so much already, and his defense is, I wouldn't say it's already there, but it's already a plus. And then we see that his offensive game is there. We just have to unleash it. So the defense, I feel like, is going to come naturally. Offense needs to be worked on, but we see that there is something there. So love that for JT Thors. A loser is Nick Richards. And the reason I say Nick Richards is just because of the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of Nick Richards. I'll say that if you're new to the channel. I'm not the biggest fan of Nick Richards. However, I don't think he's bad. The only thing is, the reason I say he is a loser is just because of the fact that he's almost 25 years old. You have Mark Williams, who's about to be 22 years old. And Mark Williams is already doing a lot of the things you would want Nick Richards to do. Nick Richards is way more polished on the offensive end. He feels more, you can tell he's a little more comfortable in the paint. He has a little bit of more finesse to his game. He knows what hand he wants to finish with, things like that. Mark Williams is working on that. Nick Richards is better at Mark Williams than that. But on the defensive end, which is what the Hornets need, Mark Williams to me is leaps and bounds above Nick Richards. Nick Richards to me is a statistical defender. So you think he's a better defender than what he is because he does get blocks. However, I don't think he's an actually good defender. He doesn't affect shots that much. We see there was one game, I think Nick Richards only played 2 games, if I'm not mistaken. So it might have been the second game. Whatever the last game he played was, there was a night and day difference between when Mark Williams was in the game and when Nick Richards was in the game. Nick Richards he would go up to block the shot, but it would still finish over him. And in the moment, you were like, hey, it is what it is. He contested the shot. They put in Mark Williams, same thing. However, nobody's making a shot. Mark Williams is making it difficult for them to even go up. Mark Williams is making it difficult for them to even catch it in the paint. And when they would drive, he would slide over and just bump like anything. It was just a night and day difference on the defensive end. Now, while Nick Richards is a better offensive player, that's not what the Charlotte Hornets need right now. We saw how far they got with Mason Plumlee, who can't run a pick and roll and who really isn't that good on defense. So imagine what it's going to be like when you train up a Mark Williams who's already, he's only about to be 21, 22, which I guess is old these days. But look how far he is already. And that's kind of why I say Nick Richards is a loser. There may be a team out there for Nick Richards, and I wouldn't be surprised if they play Nick Richards to get his value up and then trade him type thing. And I'm not even trying to speculate moves in this video, but I'm just saying, I just wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, Mark Williams, you can tell that he's just going to be better quicker. Like I said, Nick Richards is about to be 25. Mark Williams is about to be only 22, and he's already, the only thing he really needs to work on is offensive game. Everything else, you can see it. And also, this summer league, it wasn't the best showdown for his offensive game because he was surrounded by 3 people when he would go up because teams, the players would crash down and then he wouldn't have no room to move. So, like I said, Nick Richards, he's a loser, not because he's bad, but just because the progression of Mark Williams, we're seeing what he really is, especially when he gets comfortable. And he looked more and more comfortable on the offensive end, which, you can tell by what I'm saying is Mark Williams is a winner. Mark Williams is a winner. I'm not going to go deep into it because I already kind of talked about it comparing the two. But Mark Williams just shown that he is exactly what the Hornets need on defense. He can guard. I like how he roams the paint. He's really good at that. I will say he turns his back and tries to help a little too much on the defensive end of the ball. But that's something a rookie would do. They're going for blocks. They're going just not even necessarily for blocks, but just going up to defend the shot. However, the way it's supposed to rotate, someone's supposed to rotate down to Mark Williams' man as he goes to help them. There wasn't a lot of that, but it's summer league at the end of the day, and I really don't even expect that with the real team, just because we know how this team operates on defense. They can get a little lost. But so Mark Williams needs to learn kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Just the tendencies of his teammates, and so therefore he should know not to overhelp too much, or else his guy's going to get open. That's a lot what happened. And in summer league, the team would miss, and then his guy would be unguarded. He would just get the rebound, dunk it. In the pros, in the actual NBA, they're going to pass that. You know what I mean? So it's just at least then you have the in summer league, at least you have the opportunity that, if someone misses, we can get a rebound out of that. But in the NBA, they're not even going to get that chance just because of the fact that that's going to be dished off and then for an easy dunk. So Mark Williams needs to work on that. Other than that, though, he is great on defense. Obviously, he just needs to refine that. But the skill set is there. His IQ is there. He just needs to refine it. And then offensively, he definitely needs to just figure out what's going on with his touch. He, tried to do a little bit too much post moves. But, I don't look for that from Mark Williams. It is summer league at the end of the day. And those are kind of things where I go summer league at the end of the day. So, it is what it is. Another loser is, I would say, LJ Figueroa, just for the summer league roster. And the reason I say that is not because of him. I actually really like LJ Figueroa. He didn't miss a shot at the beginning. And I like that even when his shots weren't falling, he was able to provide just a lot. He was just able to provide a lot without actually scoring the ball. And that's something that you look for. Like, I wish Bryce McGowan's was more like that, because of the fact that with Bryce McGowan's, he had the ability to score, but when he wasn't scoring, there wasn't much going on. LJ Figueroa can do that. When there's nothing going on for offensively, he can do other things. The reason I say he's a loser, once again, I think he should get picked up for a team for sure. I just don't see the front office picking him up, just because their front office is really about their guys. That's why Nick Richards has been around so long. I'm actually surprised that they even traded Vernon Carey in that deal for Montrezl Harrell, because the Hornets are really big on just holding on to their, guys they drafted and things like that. So when you got Scottie Lewis getting healthy and that plays the same position as LJ Figueroa, you have Bryce McGowan, who probably has played his way out the two-way contract and could actually make the team. And then they maybe could have moved LJ there. I'm not sure. And then you have James Bouknight, who's injured as well. And I know that he's necessarily not playing the same position as LJ Figueroa, but the same minutes is kind of what I'm saying. It's like those, like that second tier bench minutes, in which I do think James Bouknight deserves more minutes, but we just talking about the reality of the team here. I think that James Bouknight is kind of going to take that spot as well when he gets healthy. So it leaves LJ Figueroa as an odd man out. Now, if they can get him on a two-way, I'm perfectly fine with that. Like I want him on the team, however, I just know how the Hornets operate. Well, I wouldn't say I know, but I've seen how the Hornets operate, and I just feel like they're going to stick to their guys despite, James Bouknight being injured and Scottie Lewis being injured and things like that. So, yeah, I just feel like it makes LJ Figueroa the odd man out. And so, therefore, we move it on to the next winner, and this is the third winner, and that is going to be Bryce McGowan. Bryce McGowan is a bucket. I mean, he, like I said earlier, when his shot is not falling, there's not much else he does. He does a lot. He does apply a lot of pressure when he's aggressive, but he can be selfish at times. Against the game against the Bulls, he was pretty selfish. But Bryce McGowan, I think he played his way out of a two-way contract. Therefore, that makes him a winner. He shows that he can be a bucket. He just needs to work on the rest of his game. He's not a bad defender. I actually, reading, draft reports and things about him coming into the draft, and then even after, they were saying that he's not that good of a defender, but he has the tools. We saw that in Summer League. I mean, he was actually a pretty good defender. He didn't get lost too much, and that's all you can ask for a young guy, especially in Summer League. But I actually like what he brings on the defensive end, but we all know on offensive end, he's a bucket. He can be a bucket. It's just when he gets, I think he does those drives to the basket because that's what he is. He's more of a driver than a shooter. When he's not getting those drives to fall or not getting any calls, that affects the rest of his game. So he's got to work on that. But he's young at the end of the day, so it's not the end of the world. But I do feel like he played his way out that two-way contract, therefore making him a winner. Now, my final loser would be, let's say, I think my final loser, honestly, would be Kelly Oubre. And the reason I say that, and I know he's not necessarily, Summer League, but the reason I say that is just because of the fact that he is on that one-year deal. You have guys like Bryce McGowan who you can call up. We have LJ Figueroa possibly on a two-way. You got minutes. You're trying to make minutes for James Bouknight, things like that. And I know Kelly Oubre is he's a decent defender, but he was able, before All-Star break, he was lighting it up from three. I like Kelly Oubre on the team. I want him to be on the team. However, with the young guys coming up, you got Kai Jones coming, which they don't play. Once again, they don't play the same position, but it's kind of like same minutes. And I'm hoping Kai gets more minutes. That's why I'm saying that. They're going to have to cut the minutes somewhere. And also, like with the cap space already, with Gordon Hayward, and you got Terry Rozier's new contract. We don't know what's going on with Miles Bridges, but possibly a new contract coming there, depending on what happens with him. It's just, it makes, once again, similar to LJ Figueroa, it's not about Kelly Oubre himself. It's more so about the minutes, and just, I feel like he's going to be the odd man out come trade deadline. So I really like Kelly Oubre's game. I do feel like he was in a little bit of a slump, but he was asked to do a lot. He was asked to start. He was asked to not start. He was asked to be the star at times when the pandemic thing happened. Well, not the pandemic thing, but when people were on health and safety protocols, that really affected his game because he was asked to basically be the star during those times. So he was just asked to do a lot, and I think eventually, also grinding for a playoff spot after you made a comfortable lead, but then you went backwards and then you had to go back forwards. That took a lot on any player, but I really feel like Kelly Oubre switching in and out of his role that he originally was assigned to do, it made it rough for him. But yeah, I feel like he's just going to be the odd man out, and then a lot of teams are going to want him. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's bad or anything. I like Kelly Oubre. I've liked Kelly Oubre since he was in high school, but he's just going to be very valuable, and the Hornets it wouldn't be smart to just keep him, if that makes any sense. I think he's going to be very valuable come trade deadline. Now, I think that's everybody. I think that's all my winners, all my losers, but really quick, I want to talk about someone that's a winner and loser, and that is Kai Jones. I love Kai Jones. I think I talk about Kai Jones a lot on this channel, but it's because I love Kai Jones. His basketball talent, basketball skill is there. Like, it's there. We see that he's super athletic. He gives energy. He needs to work on his shooting, but we know he can shoot. And by can shoot, I don't mean like hitting 38% from three and things like that, or hitting middies. But we know that he can shoot enough to where when he's actually getting time and getting minutes, you're not going to sag off him. You know what I mean? Summer League, it wasn't the best display of that, but we see that it's there. Kai Jones can shoot a little bit, enough to where you wouldn't just want to leave him wide open. It's not like having Mitchell Robinson or somebody at three-point line. But he's also not Miles Turner, if that makes any sense. But basketball talent, basketball skill, work ethic, all of that is there. The reason he's a loser too is just because of the basketball IQ. It is Summer League. It really is. But it's just, these are your minutes, you know what I mean? These are your NBA minutes, considering you didn't get many NBA minutes last year. So what you do in the Summer League, what you do in the G League, those are your NBA minutes. And during his NBA minutes, he did a lot of things that just weren't the smartest of plays, like the game, like yesterday's game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, where he tried to dribble between 3 guys, or where he gets a rebound, tries to go up from 3 guys. He's young. It is Summer League. It is G League. I get it. But when those are the only minutes you see him play and he does things like that, it's a little disheartening. However, I think he should get real NBA minutes, because I think that's going to reverse those bad habits that he has. He's been played out of position basically his whole career, basketball career, at least from what I know, since he was at Texas, and then moving on to Charlotte, where last year they played him at the 5, then they tried to move him to the 4, then they realized he's more of a 5. I get it. It's a little difficult for him because he doesn't have a distinct role yet. However, you just want his basketball IQ to be better, and I think that can happen if they actually play him in NBA minutes. I'm not saying that like he should be put in and then be detrimental to the team, but for his growth, it works out and things like that. What I'm saying is just that he needs more NBA minutes, or else, because in Summer League and the G League, you can do those things. You can go up on 3 people. You can do all this. So he needs to get NBA minutes to learn that he cannot do that, because I feel like he honestly doesn't know he can't do that. And he was doing it even in his little bit of minutes. So I'm saying, like in the NBA last season. So if he gets real meaningful NBA minutes, I feel like that will help. You know, it may be bad for Hornets fans, but it will help his growth to an extent. Like, I don't want to just throw every game to make sure Kai Jones get his reps, but you know, he just needs real NBA minutes to get out of those habits. Basketball talent is just there. It really is. And I mean, everybody loves Kai Jones. Everybody loves his work ethic. Can't say that word. But yeah, I just think he needs to work on that. But anyway, that does it for this video. Thank y'all so much for just the support. The support has been crazy since I started this channel. So just thank you so much. I'm going to go watch basically some tape and just kind of learn the players, you know, tendencies and things like that. It's my job. Well, I wouldn't say it's my job because I don't get paid to do this, but hey, keep subscribing if you want me to get paid to do this, and then I can, do it more often. But yeah, I'm gonna watch and just learn everybody's tendencies and things like that. I'm interested to see who's gonna be in the 2-way spots, who's gonna make the roster, things like that, because there was a lot of talent on this Summer League roster for sure. So interested to see what the Hornets do with all these players. But anyway, that does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.